Tomorrow we begin the Canning Stock route. So why all the fuss?
You got to give it a name, Robbie. Andrew,
Your mama.
has it already got a name?
Yes. The Range Rover.
Well, let me think. It's the world's longest cattle route. About 1,850 kilometres, 1,100 plus miles off-road. But it's not just an off-road route. There are only two escape routes on the entire distance. The first one is about 830 kilometres from the start. So something goes wrong, well, it's a problem. Cars, trucks, breakdown vehicles can't access the track. You need a highly mobile, high-performance, off-road, four-wheel drive. At a point about 150 kilometres short of halfway, one can get water and fuel. On the second bit, there is another escape route, but it's only about 150 kilometres, 2 days driving or so, from the halfway point. So the last section is 800 plus kilometres, again with no escape routes. The other problem that is facing us is a big unknown, and that is the fact that the track has been closed for 2.5 years and therefore has had no traffic on it. How overgrown is it going to be? Has the rain washed parts of the track away? Are the wells that we need for water going to even work? All these things are ahead of us, and we are trying to complete it in a vintage Land Rover product. Right, now you see why I'm looking a little worried.
This is the worst time of day for driving, especially into the sunset. I'll just take it easy.
June 22 in Western Australia. I'm on the road for what should be an epic journey, and an epic test too, to drive a 46-year-old Range Rover on what is arguably Australia's longest and toughest off-road track, no less than 1,800 kilometres off-road. But to get to its start, we must drive for 4 days, 2,600 kilometres, and that's where you find us now.
And the three vehicles that the Range Rover will be supporting on this epic journey are...
Some old Hilux with some stuff bolted to the back. Nissan Triton, I think it is. And my fantastic Troopcarrier, the hero of the show. And we hope.
And yesterday we had a good day, a little more than 800 kilometres. Today we're hoping a little more, if these lazy bastards get up. The people involved in this mad dash, I'll introduce to you later. It's a long way to go.
The other part of this adventure worth noting is that we have no camera crew. We are not backed up by a big broadcast organisation. In essence, we're on our own. And we're not off to a particularly good start. There's already something wrong with the Range Rover.
Rob has a knock. I'm going to do a diagnostic drive. When we came in last night, there's some knocking sound. So I'm going to drive it that section. It's corrugated and rough. I'm going to see what's real clunky. Let's see what we can do. Yeah.
Rob will be the main driver of the Range Rover, although I plan to do a reasonable amount in it as well. This then is Rob Stokes. He was born about 15 miles from where the Range Rover was built.
Yeah, it's the official t-shirt.
Near Solihull, Birmingham, England. At the time it was built, he was being chased out of pubs for being too young. Rob described the Range Rover's rattle as a heavy clack.
Tell me something, is this a banging? Is it a clack or is it a banging?
Notwithstanding the noise and rattling of the tank, there is something wrong. Difficult to diagnose given all of the sounds coming from the loading area.
I'm hearing a boo, boo,
That's it,
boo.
Yeah,
and you can feel it through the seat of your pants.
It's quite
Something
solid
is
boat.
loose in the back there.
I've
tried everything.
One of the wheels is loose. The tank is loose. It's a heavy thing that's hitting the chassis and sending a thing through the car. You agree with me?
Because that's what I'm hearing, is it coming through the chassis.
Yeah.
The trip we have ahead of us is hard for any four-wheel drive, let alone one this old. Our self-imposed rule is that while there are people and vehicles supporting the trip, the Range Rover must carry all its own fuel, including an additional 200 litres in a great big tank, 2 spare wheels, and all spare parts.
It comes straight through the seat of your pants. I just want to rock the car left to right as hard as we can.
Stop. The shocky is loose and about to come off. What? You see that there? The bottom bolt of the shocky.
Do it again. Yeah, we've lost the bottom bolt of the shock absorber.
Yeah.
Okay, stop.
Oh, it's good that we did not drive the track out.
This is John Graber.
It's missing a screw or bolt.
Nut.
It's good that you know the technical terms.
He's driving that Mitsubishi Nissan thing. And apart from not knowing the difference between a bolt and a nut, he's German. And that's a worry because...
And it looked like the nut had fallen off, but what happened is the nut is still on there.
this is Heiner
Washer missing that compresses the rubber. And we found the nut inside the rubber with a lot of movement. This would have been quite a big damage, I think, after a while. Especially on corrugations, but yeah. Now we can try to fix it. Johnny, have you got some spanners for me?
I sure do.
And he's German too. And this worries me only a little bit, actually more than the Range Rover's condition.
So Andrew, did you do a bolt and nut check before you left with the car?
We did thousands of checks before I left the car. But I think that particular shock absorber is one thing that we didn't check.
Does look a bit like it.
Scares me to death.
It scares me because we've only done about 12 kilometres of gravel, but these German folk have absolutely no faith in British engineering. I don't have any faith in it either. That's why we're both driving Japanese four-wheel drives. But I'm sure that won't stop them from picking holes in it. So Rob and I must make sure that we stick to the facts.
This doubles up as an anti-50s voice.
Early Range Rovers had a very, very nice drop-down tailgate and a very, very horrible upper tailgate that doesn't stay closed on lumpy roads. They never did, and this one isn't, so it's behaving just like a brand new car. There were actually plans not to drive it up to Broome and actually have it trucked up to Broome and then travel from Broome down, but it was actually a good idea that we drove it up here because we can identify problems now. We know what the vehicle's doing, we know how it sounds, etc. So when a sound like this, oh, that's abnormal, we can act upon it, which is what has happened here. End of day 3 driving. We've got about, I guess, 80 k's to a designated campsite on this road. We have heard a number of reports that parts of the Canning are underwater. When we get to Halls Creek, we will speak to the locals. We'll also speak to some people down in the southern part and try and get an update on the track. We are particularly worried about the southern section because they've had a number of storms and apparently it's underwater. Well, we'll see what happens as we go.
This is Broome on the north coast, the largest town closest to the start of the route, therefore the place where we'll get the cheapest fuel.
That's 197. That's on the separate tank inside. Can't squeeze any more.
We'll fill up all our tanks, including our extra jerry cans. I'm carrying one in the back of the Troopcarrier.
I want to see you spill that.
I know you do. I know you do.
You should be close, it's 20 litres. Oh, it's the big moment. Ooh. Well done.
Focus shook one off before.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect that with a man your age, no dribbling.
This is the theme of this film.
No dribbling?
No, not dribbling.
Because you're dribbling a lot.
Oh, it's down to me now.
Okay. Alright, this is probably the biggest fill-up of the trip. You nearly tripped over. The next big fill-up will be Halls Creek. Will be a top-up, not a fill-up, but then we'll have a similar kind of fuel fill-up at Kanaruichi, which is well 33, in the middle of the canyon. So we've got to do this twice.
But earlier this afternoon, the Range Rover developed another fault that we need to attend to.
Today, around lunchtime, the water temperature gauge stopped working. But the oil temperature is showing a high temperature, but without having a water temperature gauge working properly, it's difficult for us to.
The water temperature seems to be alright.
I think the water temperature is alright, but
and the sensor's alright as well. I've been measuring, so the resistance goes up slowly, which it should, because now it's getting colder and colder, so the resistance is going up.
An almost 11-hour drive yesterday has brought us to the coast. We're now heading east, and today we've got about another 10-hour driving day, something close to 1,200 kilometers still to go before we start the Canning Stock route. And luckily the route there will take us through a part of Australia that is particularly scenically beautiful, the Kimberley. We're going to wild camp, and we have to find somewhere to do that.
So I've been charged with finding the campsite for the night, and I know exactly where I'm going to go. Actually, I don't know exactly where I'm going to go, but I think in amongst those trees with that backdrop will be fabulous and flat. Thinking about this area here to the left of me, it's fairly flat.
Wherever you feel is good, Andrew.
There's a lot of firewood, it's ready burnt.
That's a good fire, it's dry. Nice and dry.
First of all, I need to go use my
Yeah. Yeah, because you were about to show me something. What have you got in your hand, Andrew? The other way around?
Let me know when you want water.
1.5 years of planning and preparation all comes down to this. We're at Halls Creek, topping up water and, of course, all the fuel containers we are carrying.
So far I've used about, oh God, here he comes. Oh,
Let me know when you want to cut it off.
yeah.
It's coming. Still coming.
I'm not saying anything.
How's the plumbing, Andrew?
Okay.
Okay, water's off. You want more water?
How's the plumbing?
Any dribbles?
None. See, none at all.
Bloody hell, well done.
I absolutely live for this. The sun is heading towards the horizon. We've got a campsite to find. We're in the middle of the bush. Nobody else around except my mates. Life doesn't really get much better than this.
Finally, we've done it. We are on the Canning Stock route in our attempt to cross the world's longest cattle route and to take a 46-year-old Range Rover to decide, have modern four-wheel drives got any better?
That Range Rover is like 100 loose rivets flying in close formation.
Are they the same? Or are they worse?
This could last the entire day.
John, I'm going to hang back a little bit so I can get some distance again.
Had these camels do this. they get this single one-track mind, and they will run along the track. They will not get off the track for an hour. This is what they do. We could actually get to well 33 and he could still be in front of us.
Camels can actually die from exhaustion, so it's actually important that I force him to leave the track.
What do you think of that drive, eh?
You are so small.
Oh, that's a oh, this is so good. It's so good.
That bit,
Yeah.
it's memories.
Oh,
that
no.
bit where the camera, I was fiddling trying to get this set up. I couldn't get the recorder on because it looked absolutely brilliant from back here.
Time for some drawvorce. A nice cold coat.
Due to COVID travel restrictions, the route has been closed for over 2 years and is actually about to reopen officially. And while we do have written permission to do it, even so, a question remained. How would the locals welcome us? Outside the closed town of Bilaluna, we stopped, and to our delight, we were greeted by a local elder. We didn't film it. I didn't want to impose.
How good is that? Yeah, it's such a vindication that we should be here. The local people welcoming us, smiles across their faces. Welcome. This is my land. This is just pride, and you are welcome. And perfect timing.
Not only did he welcome us, but suggested a campsite about 20 kilometers away at Stretch Lagoon. To get there, we'd need to pass through the last of the huge cattle stations crossing the route. From here, 800 kilometers or so, until we see signs of human habitation again.
The things I have to do because you won't share your shower.
Git.
Freezing cold. In Australia.
Of course I let him use my shower. I just don't turn on the boiler.
Ooh. Yep, that's fresh. Can't get any better than this. And there's my old mate Andrew.
It's time now to share with you some details about the 4 vehicles in our convoy. My vehicle is a 2021 Toyota Land Cruiser VDJ 78. That's the Troopcarrier. It has a 4.5 V8 turbo diesel engine. I'm carrying 180 litres in its 2 standard tanks and an extra 20 litres in a jerry can in the back. My water measures around 110 litres. It has barely 11,000 kilometers on the clock.
I'm driving a 2014 Toyota Hilux SR with a 3-liter turbo diesel engine, a 5-speed automatic gearbox. I've got about 210,000 kilometers on the clock now. 154-liter fuel tank, 20-liter jerry, another 20-liter jerry with John, and it's a 90-liter water tank and another 20-liter jerry can for water as well. That's the setup for this car.
So I'm in my 2013 Mitsubishi Triton. It's a 2.5 litre turbo diesel. I have 140 litres onboard fuel, and then I have another 40 litres of a reserve. And I have about 56 litres of water on board for this trip. So not carrying that much water, but I do have a water filtration system with me as well, so I can actually fill up from anywhere on the track.
I'll do it with you because it's my car.
Partly your car.
Our car.
for the journey.
For the journey, definitely our car. Actually, for the journey, it's your car.
It is.
A 1975 built Range Rover 3.5 V8 petrol engine.
Yep.
How much fuel are you carrying?
About 200 litres in the back.
Yeah.
And then we carry a standard tank.
80 litres in the standard tank.
280.
Yes. And no water.
No.
I'm carrying your water.
Yep.
But this is carrying a lot of spare parts.
Well, every spare part.
Far more
Yeah.
than would be for even a normal trip in a normal vehicle.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of spares.
We've even got a radiator.
We've even got a spare radiator, which is on the front
Just
seat.
there.
To put it briefly, we have 1,850 plus kilometers of wilderness. And when I say wilderness, I'm really talking about wilderness in the true sense of the word. I can't think of a track anywhere that is this long and this remote. There probably are some, but I don't actually know of them. When I talk about remote, I'm talking about no settlements, certainly no facilities to get fuel, water, spares, or really help of any kind. Halfway through, pretty close to halfway, is a very small settlement where we can pick up fuel. If it wasn't for that, we would have to carry, well, basically we will empty all our fuel by the time we arrive there. So we are all running on the edge of our fuel range ability.
We've been basically tracking the fuel consumption of all 4 vehicles on the drive up here, and as kind of expected, Triton's best on fuel at the moment. Hilux is coming in second with 12.5 litres, and then out of the both V8s, they're both the same at 15 litres per 100.
The canning stock route is not really a vehicle breaker, but it does test them to the limit, but it is definitely a trailer breaker. It has broken vehicles and it will break trailers. That's why we didn't even consider pulling trailers. And of all of the challenges that we have today, I see there are 2 main challenges. The Range Rover, we've got to keep it running, and secondly, fuel reserves.
I don't know how he survived for so long.
Yeah, we ready to go now then? Hey you!
Hello?
Shitface, are you ready to go?
What are you saying, mate?
Oh, we go now.
Well, I reckon we should get on the bloody road, mate, because traffic's going to get
Traffic's
dire,
gonna be
mate.
a
If you leave it much later, you're going to hit all the traffic, and they're all going to be going the same bloody way. Not going to move.
And everybody's going to be in the fast lane.
Yeah, move,
Yeah.
get away.
This is gonna be a long trip.
Not a vehicle breaker, you say? I've actually been getting the age of the Range Rover wrong all along. If it was built in 1975, that makes it 47 years old this year. Older than John and Heiner.
What is it, a lizard?
It's a Toyota Prado 150.
So Rob's just found the actual bash plate from the vehicle, which will work probably a lot better to make another bash plate to extend my current one so that we don't have sticks going through my radiator. That's a good idea. Because the track is a lot more overgrown than expected.
That looks a bit thick, Andrew.
I can't get out to clear it.
Hold on, I'll see if I can come through.
It's the perfect track for car lovers. If you really like your paint, you should come here.
This is going to damage cars. don't remember this. The bush is so thick. I remember a little bit of this at the southern portion of the track, but not in the dune fields, which means that we can expect this kind of driving for the next 3 or 4 days.
Oh look, and my mirror is gone.
Well, I have to clean out my airbox tonight. There'll be so many leaves that got sucked in through the snorkel.
I was just about to say I've got some weed stuck in the front of my car. I think you're worse off.
The aircon's working. Oh, I got a couple of slaps in the face.
Hello, I'm a bit too loose for this trip.
Yeah. So what's he saying? Go through or not?
Alright, let's go.
There are 51 numbered wells on the Canning Stock route. This is well 51. We'll count down from here. We have brought equipment with us, including a welder, in order to repair some of the wells, should they be, well, in a state of disrepair. In 2017, this was a fully functioning well. A terrific storm must have come through to do this much damage.
After a thorough inspection of the well, we don't have enough equipment to fix this one.
We are approaching the vast dune fields of the Canning Stock route. Time to put up our dune flags and consider what lies ahead of us. And while I've done the Canning Stock route before, this feels quite different.
It doesn't feel as if I've done it before. It still feels new.
But it also feels a little scary. If the undergrowth gets much worse than it is now, it could stop us in our tracks. Time to fly the drone and get a better look.
So if I look at that there, the picture, the road definitely sweeps to the west of that very heavy area of heavy undergrowth. We might actually not have to drive through that, which would be good.
But the drone is only revealing 10 or so kilometers. We have hundreds of kilometers to go. It's also time now to find a campsite. In the lee of one of these hills would be good. We found a nice hill. Nice views and everything. But the clearing is not in the lee of the hill. Oh well, can't have everything.
What would you say?
It's just full of surprises, isn't it?
Today?
All that we've come through. There's nothing either side of the road.
No, that would be
And
like
then
3 hours of nothing to camp.
just bang. Middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Perfect campsite.
Right at 4 o'clock.
It was even on time, yeah.
Yeah, even on time.
Andrew,
Yeah.
when we get to well 3, is that where the police are hanging out to move people on?
Well, 3.
Yeah, that's where the police hang around, isn't it?
Yeah. What?
Well, what's going on here then?
Jeez, that is low even for
Oh
you.
no, that is low even for
That
you.
can get worse.
Even for you.
Heiner was right. It's going to be a long trip.
I want to walk somewhere to take a picture of our camp. I like to do every morning. I like to just go somewhere and take a picture of a camp. The trouble is that Spinifex is so prickly. Walking in this stuff is like oh, this is a challenging metaphor. Is like walking through a bed of angry wasps. It's not an exciting day. The wind has got quite cold and quite intense.
For me, I know I need to check the Land Cruiser's undersides, but John is fitting more rusty parts to his Nissan.
Well, we've got a small gap here between my bull bar and the bash plate that I would like to cover because the amount of sticks and stuff that are on the track at the moment, I just don't want to have any damage to my radiator. So we found a bash plate from the burnt out wreck that fits, so I'm going to make it, retrofit it to make it work.
You mad impulsive boy.
The fact is that yesterday we had a very tough day in tall grass and a badly overgrown track. And we all need to prepare for more of that today.
Put a little bit of protection on the front, stop all the grass and God knows
What a great idea.
in there.
So, it's a South African product. It's quite a good one, really. Hooks on the top. I did modify it, I admit, from the original design. I made it a little bit better. Today we've got to try and make, as I said, 100 kilometers a day. I think yesterday was 140 something. Today I'd be surprised if we hit 60. You know, sometimes it's so important just to stop and take in your surroundings. Look at this place. Absolutely brilliant, so beautiful and incredibly remote. And the track is becoming more and more difficult to follow because people haven't driven it for so long, adding to the challenge.
This morning the challenge has been grass. Enough of it collects around the exhaust pipe and the vehicle can catch fire.
So I've got the DPF there and an area just behind it where the grass is impacting. And if that thing goes off with that grass there, I've got to keep an eye on that. That's not good.
I've got some
Clearing the undersides of our vehicle is probably going to become a regular ritual on this trip.
Andrew's all given us one of these, so if we do have a fire underneath the vehicle, we can put it out quickly without having to use our fire extinguishers.
The fact is, in a grass fire, a fire extinguisher will put it out, but the trouble is once the fire goes out, it'll reignite because you've still got the source of ignition, i.e. the heat of the exhaust and the grass. So the idea behind this is that you can climb underneath the vehicle and squirt up underneath the vehicle, and it'll cool it down. Because it'll cool it down, it'll actually put the fire out. So it's actually more effective than a traditional fire extinguisher. And I've got mine on my front. I know everybody's got theirs in a place in their cars. They're very, very easy to access very, very quickly. That's the point of them, so you can act extremely quickly. I think it's a very, very nice safety thing. And it's good for a shower too. If you wanted a quick shower, you put the nozzle on spray and you have a nice...
I'd like to get a better view of the track ahead. The hills in the area make a good vantage point. And then I could also fly the drone to get a better look.
Just occurred to me why we've done basically 9 months of planning for this trip. Water, fuel, spares, what you're going to get done on your cars, even down to clothes, medical supplies, food, everything. And even now we're going through sections we're having to question, are we going to have enough fuel? we've definitely got enough water, you know, and food and that kind of thing, but because there's been so few people down on this track, we're having to really calculate fuel and everything, make sure we can make it to 12:33. So at some point later today, I would have thought, when the fuels are getting down a bit, that's when we have to make the call. At the moment, we're running through some really relative flat ground, open plains, but we have been hitting some really overgrown, tough to push through. You know, Andrew's taking the lead and his car's getting a battery as well, they all are. But yeah, it's just made me appreciate just how much planning you have to do before you do one of these. Just once in a lifetime trips, I suppose. It certainly is for me anyway. Beautiful. So we've come across a really tight spot now. Andrew's going to head his pushing through.
Slower section here, Heiner. Thanks, John.
But he said it's really bad. The further it gets in, the worse it gets. Now he's gone right into there somewhere, and he's in amongst that bush. We're hoping he either finds a clear patch or at least somewhere to turn around and come back.
I'll do a report on how many kilometers we've done today. It's not been great. It hasn't been bad, but not terrible. And we've hit the dune fields, these amazing dune fields, and these are such fun to drive. These red dunes, and there are over 1,200 of them on the track.
The afternoon is a bit of a test of endurance. Endless rough track and very heavy undergrowth. I for one am really looking forward to a restful evening around the campfire.
So we just had a little bit of a celebration and we all got into third gear. It's the first time for quite a while. Andrew was very happy. Let's see how long it lasts for. This old girl as well. Can't beat it. It's just,
I can just see the. You probably can't see it. The dune flag down there, and it hasn't moved in 10 minutes. So they're sitting struggling in that little spot. It's really rough, and an enormous hole in the road, and the bush is just insane. It's so tight.
The sight of the well and the camping spot ahead of us, I think, is a great relief to all of us. This is Well 43, not only known for its beautiful trees, but of the curious wreck of a Nissan Patrol.
The snap in the chassis here, and then coil towers right there. That's also got a big crack through it, and cracked as well. It's cracked all the way through.
Wow. I mean, look at the size of the trailer was on there. It is huge.
That's probably what cracked it.
Yeah.
And the muffler.
As for the well, it's not in great shape either.
If you want to get really sick, you can drink that.
The cover has gone, but the winder seems to work correctly.
We did 88 kilometers today, which for the kind of driving we did, I'm very pleased with. Honestly, thinking about it, I was reckoning 50 to 60 tops. Well, good morning. Having woken from an absolutely idyllic evening last night, it's raining. But everybody, well, most of the vehicles actually need work done on them. Let's see what needs to be done. So what work do you need to do on your car this morning?
Just put a clip around the CV boot. One of the clips has come off.
All right, John, work needed on your vehicle, all done?
Well, we did the bash plate at the front yesterday, which was very helpful, and then I've still got another bash plate underneath the car that's holding my gearbox, and wedged a stick under it because it's rattling a little bit.
What's the work you need to do, Rob?
Nothing. Zilch. Heiner,
Yeah, Robbie.
what you doing?
My CV boot clamp has disintegrated.
Oops.
After I put the other suspension in, that has happened twice before. And we thought we got on top of it by changing the lower control arms, but for some reason that little clip has come off again, which is an absolute pain in the ass, because now I don't have any other ones, and there's not enough clearance in here to put a hose clamp around it.
Forgot safety feature. These don't get stolen. Just close it. Nothing wrong with this car.
Being the lead vehicle, I'm picking up so many sticks and bushes that oh wow, an enormous eagle has made a nest under my car overnight. So ingenuity. This is John's broken aerial. He does have a spare, luckily, and a bit of tape and a welding rod to get this, try and get this eagle to go and find somewhere else to nest.
I'm gonna try to rig this up with wire rope and then tighten it and cut it as short as possible. Got no idea if that's gonna work or not. Okay. This might have fixed it.
Good job, Heiner.
Such a good position to work in. And this is my latest modification to my Hilux. If you hit bushes hard enough with your mirror, you can then take the mirror off and you can take it as a cup holder.
Time to refuel the car. Pump ready. Heiner's doing my switch for me. Got my outlet over there for the breather. I'll open that up, and then when we've finished all that, do a bit of dusting.
Dusting?
Yeah.
Why?
It's to make room for more dust.
All the, oh. Shit, it's falling apart, Andrew.
You see, Heiner has to resort to terrorist tactics to make the Range Rover look bad.
Perfect. Just like new.
Okay, safety first. Got my fire extinguisher ready. Safety cordon around the danger area. And we don't want Joe Blokes coming in, so make sure that they can see the warning beacon. And we should be safe to refuel.
John built us a special tank for the project, a 200-litre stainless steel baffled tank that is strapped into the back of the Range Rover. And this is the very first time we are decanting from it.
Yep, we have fuel.
This gives me a warm fuzzy, this does. All the planning actually comes down to this. Getting the Range Rover to carry enough fuel for the entire trip. We talked about jerry cans, we talked about different ways to keep it safe.
That tank's not moved, nothing.
There's a lot of dirt we accumulated through the snorkel.
Not too much dribbling for its age.
A bit of work needs to be done in here. I need a brush.
A little bit of a bacon and egg fry up. Breakfast.
Bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Andrew, did you cook something?
Yeah, cooked toast.
Yeah, I cook toast.
Look at that. Are we ready to eat, Andrew? Stay seated, please. Stay seated.
Breakfast, sir?
I say yes, and bring it right here.
Would you like it on the table or your lap?
Oh, lap. Where there's no table.
One moment.
I wish I hadn't said lap.
There you go, sir.
I say jolly decent of you.
Hope that suits you, sir. And cutlery.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good morning.
What a git. I say, waiter, you've overcooked the fucking toast again. Back on the track again for about 3 minutes, and Heiner has reported that he has a problem with his Hilux.
I was coming around the corner with about 30-40 Ks, and there was a step up, like a really hard rock.
I remember
step
it.
up.
I remember it.
And I hit that pretty hard.
Okay.
And now my steering wheel is
Oh.
a bit on the piss. I just want to make sure that there isn't anything seriously bent.
Nothing obvious, but Heiner thinks it might be a control arm.
And my ticking and scraping is gone.
Maybe a control arm issue that is bent or out of alignment. And look, sounds like John sorted out his problem as well. That's the third complete four-wheel drive that we found wrecked on the side of the track. Every time I see one, makes me a little bit more worried about what we're trying to do here.
Is that a Jeep?
I think so.
Yeah, it's got the roll cage in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah, the rims look very Jeepy.
and it's a solid front axle. Beautiful country, really just taking a short break as Heiner fixes something else on the Hilux. I love it. To be honest, none of us thought it would be the Hilux giving us trouble at this point on our trip. So we have a dune crossing ahead. I'm going to get the drone into the air for it. This is the best, most exciting, most enjoyable thing you can do on the Canning Stock route. There are thousands of dunes just like this one.
John, explain what we're doing.
Putting in extra obstacles for the lads.
Yeah,
Because we don't want to make it too easy for them.
I managed to get up here and I realized that I was about to get stuck, so I dug in really, really deep. John is gonna pull me out. Then we hit this thing with a lot of speed on the way up again. And then we're gonna set up the camera and hopefully we will see Rob and Andrew get stuck on the sand dune. Let's see. Okay, so what we've done here, this is a really steep part. If they're not expecting it to be that chewed up on the top, they'll come up with speed, slow down to just hit the crest and get bogged straight away. That's why we duck a bit here. Won't be a problem, they just reverse, do it with speed, but at least we see them get stuck. That's the whole idea. Now we just gotta wait. Damn, we tried so hard. But Andrew, see what happens. See if he can get stuck here. I mean, we tried everything we could to make it as boggy as possible. If he doesn't get stuck, at least we get a good V8 rumble. Well, that didn't work. I think we have to try harder on the next one. Yeah. We had the Hilux completely bogged to the side steps. Just keep digging right on top, exactly where you would usually go. Oops, stop. So you get stuck, but you both went through. But we filmed the whole thing, how we snatched back and everything to set a trap for you guys.
The Range Rover is ballistic.
I know you. I'm bloody I'm getting to know you. I see the two of you stopping. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I better get this in first go.
Yeah. I mean, you went fast enough and you didn't do the whoop.
No, I went into third. I went from fourth into third on that point.
Yeah.
I banged it into third at that moment.
Yeah, I was hoping you would just do the up and just sort of stop on top.
Nah.
That would have been the end because there's tracks about that deep. Shoot up.
Nice try.
Damn it, next one.
All right, guys, shall we go? Good.
Drop something.
So, the trouble is with this gag, people will actually take it seriously and think that I would do something like this. That's the trouble. So I can't really use it in the edit because people would actually think, oh yeah, you're a moron, you're littering.
One, this is a great.
I never litter. After an absolutely brilliant day's driving, it's getting on. Again, time to find a clearing in the Spinifex to set up camp. Today we're going to find camp early. Some of us have a lot still to do on our vehicles.
Heiner,
Yeah.
why did you have to catch up?
Oh, you know, I was filming and just playing around a little bit. As you do.
Heiner has decided that the problem with his front wheel tracking has to be fixed because his fuel consumption today has been way higher than normal.
The adjustment was all the way out, and as I hit it, the adjustment in the upper control arm went all the way in. So now the steering is out, and we tried to fix that. Lucky enough, I got stuck in mud before, and the mud went all the way through the wheel arch, and it gives us a nice alignment mark now. So we're gonna jack it up and readjust the upper control arm. I think it's really important to mention that this is obviously not a repair, it's just a readjustment. There's no breakdown here, nothing.
Nothing had to be replaced, so it's a hard one to call.
Just have to check.
Rubbish. It's a repair. Rob,
Yes.
I'm going to adjust the control arms on the Range Rover, okay? Just in case.
Maybe just the
in
ones
case
on the
Heiner
door that
hits
doesn't
me.
wanna-
Rob, show me. This is the most adjustments I'm needing at the moment.
And adjust your control arms for me. Perfect. He's gone to test, hasn't he?
Yep.
That was a short test. Yes, no?
I think it's a bit worse than before.
Put it back again.
That result makes this a good place to stop and spend the night.
We did a tad over 60 kilometers today, so not a particularly good day distance-wise, but driving today was really fun. Really fun. The dunes are starting to get steep and really interesting. I hope Heiner does manage, in all seriousness, I hope he manages to sort out his vehicle. It's not a serious thing that he's having to fix, but it's affected his steering, so it'll affect his fuel consumption considerably. But I'm not particularly worried. Amazing place, eh?
Rob has shown a certain reluctance in giving up the Range Rover keys, but tomorrow I'll convince him. I need to give it a go through the dune field.
So, yeah, it's lovely, really lovely. So we are about halfway between the start of the canning and the first halfway point at Kanarawichi. So we're approximately halfway on the first section.
We've woken in a clearing in the Spinifex grasslands. I've been really looking forward to today. Today's the day I get to drive the Range Rover.
Good morning. I think it's day 8. And as you can see, any attempt at tidying up my hair would be completely pointless. Rob, I'd like to take it for this morning, take it for an hour or two on the dunes. Yeah? I think I might ask Heiner, John, if they can have an idea on how to persuade him. Heiner, can you help me with Rob? He's serious. He doesn't want to...
He will not get out of that.
Please. There's got to be something you can do.
So, I came up with a little idea last night. Put it to Andrew this morning. And I think I was quite gracious that I said, it's your car. I think you should take it for a little drive. I can't have all the fun.
You gotta share!
You gotta share it! Come on! Andrew! I'm telling Quinn!
Otherwise, that's fine. I just need some short over time. And you can park right behind it.
I'm not sure if anybody's counted them, but there are approximately 1,300 dunes on the route itself.
Gently as she goes. Go back into high range. There you go. Nice, comfortable, reassuring click of the transfer gearbox. Yeah, the machinery is working really, really well up the steering, which is pretty vague, and people underestimate the Range Rover now. People look back at it and some have nothing good to say about it, but the fact is that in 1970 It was groundbreaking. And even today, compared to these vehicles here, it's performing brilliantly, easily matching them. Squirt it just when you need it. And if you go through a hole, the hole ease off a bit, and the moment you've got the momentum of the car as it goes through the hole, as it's coming down out of the hole, use gravity. Whoa. Not too soon, because if you do it too soon, it'll spin the wheels and make the hole bigger. You want to go woo out of the hole as opposed to woo into the hole. Guys, the one thing I think that we need to do to sort the Range Rover out is to in some way connect the steering wheel to the steering. It's not very good.
Hello.
And? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love Troopies,
Yeah.
but after driving a Range Rover,
Yeah.
I prefer to be sitting in there, mate.
Mm.
So,
What? So what? What are you saying? Come on.
Wynne may have phoned, and she said that I should be driving the Range Rover.
Really?
As agreed.
Really?
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But the phone's dead now, so I won't be able to phone them.
Phone's dead now.
Sorry.
That's convenient.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right. Yes, phone signal on that little bit of June. Did you?
Just back there, about 2 minutes ago. Before we...
Should we go back and check?
Well, the phone's dead now.
Talk bullshit. Rob. I'm now, from now on, going to call him Priscilla, Princess of the Desert. And I'm going to call the Range Rover Lucy. She's English, been around a bit loose.
They say time flies when you're having fun, but before I know it, it's lunchtime.
In a video I made not very long ago, I spoke about some of my favourite overlanding products. Now, the idea of having an oven that you can use while you're travelling. Right now, we've all shared some pies, which had been in our travel buddy for an hour and a half or something. So put in, close, drive, look at your watch, stop for lunch, hot pie. I have just baked 2 bread rolls in my travel buddy. I've now got fresh roll and cheese. It changes, it fundamentally changes the way one handles food while camping.
But it looks like I've paid a high price for my fresh rolls. That sneaking Rob is back in the Range Rover.
I had a little drive with the Troopy, and I can see what Andrew's going on about now. It's that rattling that he's got up here, or he had up here. God, having that noise drives me bloody crazy. Yep, will do.
I was starting to struggle. My tyres are quite cool, but I've suggested to the guys that we actually get them down a bit more, because I can see actually some divots that they're creating in the track, and it's a sign, it's without question a sign that the tyre pressures are too high, because the tyre goes cock, 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 and makes these divots in the track. No.
What you doing?
Gonna rescue Andrew from a big bad tree.
A big bad tree.
Yeah.
Let's have a look, see where they are. Okay, Heiner's bringing the chainsaw up now. So you finally got to use your toy.
I could. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to use the chainsaw.
You know, deep down, Heiner is very shallow.
What?
I said deep down, you're very shallow.
Ah, yeah, but I hide it very well.
Very well.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Again, today, southerly direction, and today's the big dune day. We had a lot of dunes yesterday, but today is almost only dunes. There might be some salt flats, salt lakes, they'll be dry between the dunes, but generally speaking, if you look at the map, we are in the thick of dune country, and the dunes generally run in a east-westerly direction, and looking at my map, it's zigzagging south, dune after dune after dune. Something's not
Sometimes as well that strong smell of grass from my car, but then it's usually from me.
Strong smell of grass, very strong smell, and it's I'm gonna get the little bottle out just in case something happens. That's not good. I nearly burnt my face on the exhaust pipe. That's not good at all. Look at this. Oh, it's very hot. That's not a pleasurable thought. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. The exhaust pipe is incredibly hot. I think maybe the DPF fired, I'm not sure, but that was the smell. There wasn't any grass under there, but I sprayed it, and it's just I got plumes of steam. Seriously hot, so that was the smell. Luckily there was no grass compacted in it. This is a well 43.
It's been a really good run today. Great fun driving and a reasonable distance covered. It's time now to find a camp.
We have calculated that we need to average 87 kilometers per day to arrive at the halfway point of the Canning-Stock route, which is at well 33. That's definitely a doable mileage each day.
The sense of loneliness and remoteness out here is extraordinary. But tomorrow I am hoping to get behind the wheel of the Range Rover again.
Well, good morning. Beautiful, beautiful night. The morning here was, to me, kind of illustrates what this part of Western Australia is all about. The utter silence, the yellow grass, and the sun coming up over it, and just presenting the most gorgeous, spectacular morning scene. We are a little over halfway between our starting point at Halls Creek and well 33, which is the halfway point. It's not exactly a halfway point, but it's close enough to call it halfway, and it's also a place where we know we can get water. If we travel 87 kilometers per day, we will get there in 3 days. So we're pretty much on schedule.
And I want to drive the Range Rover this morning, so...
What an idea. Range Rover spare keys. So I'm going to put the troopy keys in there so you won't have difficulty finding them.
not on your Nelly. I don't know why Andrew didn't want to drive the Range Rover today. I offered.
It's gonna kill you back!
Earlier in this series I mentioned that the Canningstock route was a very, very tough route, and in fact if you had a breakdown you could lose your vehicle, and this wasn't just hype. This is not a very old Mitsubishi Triton, and well, it's abandoned. So if a major breakdown, you lose your vehicle. That much? No. Oh, God. The Troopcarrier, 600 kilometres, almost exactly on the first 90 litre tank.
Yep.
I've switched over to the second tank now, and now this is the second fill up.
Yep.
Not fill up, but we go up to 3/4
3/4. Yeah.
because that leaks.
If you want to open the valve,
There you go.
you should.
We need something to
Fuel.
You know, sometimes I think Rob thinks that I'm a complete idiot. And I'm going to show him now. I'm going to build something really, really quickly, high-tech piece of equipment that's going to solve a little problem that we have right now. I'll show him.
How does that work? There it goes. And
We
relax.
should patent that.
Yep. That'll make you a lot of money, that one.
Fortune.
Yeah.
I got to retire.
Easily.
No?
Well, we've just drove past what looked like a nothing road going into a well. Thought nothing of it, so we just thought, like a few of the others we passed, it's not going to be functional, so me and Andrew have carried on. Honor and John have decided to do a detour, and they found a working well. So they're just going to run it through the system and top up all their tanks and jerry tanks, everything, and we've got plenty of water to go again.
Heiner has earned the reputation of caveman. He sees a cave and he wants to jump through it. Time for a short rest, so we let him indulge himself, while Rob and I stand around talking about him.
How did you guys go, Robbie?
Yeah, good. So
How's-
we were doing a bit of a circle around the bottom there, and Andrew realised that he had left my fuel tank open.
Cool. So how's the sand in the tank? Hey Andrew,
Yeah,
Rob told me you left the fuel tank open.
I did. He said I did.
He said you did.
Shit face.
Being the lead vehicle, I've been tasked every afternoon with finding a suitable place to set up camp. We like to do this at about 4:30 to give us ample time to take in our surroundings before it gets dark. Today, though, I've had a request. Rob has asked, can we camp on top of one of the dunes? And I think I've found one.
You can quite easily go there because you can position the troopy right in there
Yeah,
to get your level.
yeah. It's a really nice tree.
Yeah.
Coming off here, this is flattish, so we could have a vehicle there, parked there.
Yeah.
Another one here. We got this beautiful dead tree there.
Yeah.
That beautiful light. It might work, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to find any better. It's pretty nice. You want to camp on the top of a dune, this is probably a pretty nice spot.
Yeah. You've got all the view that way, right across there.
Yeah,
How far you can see there.
yeah.
There are two terrain types that damage vehicles on the Canning stock route. First are these dunes that we've been crossing, and what breaks the vehicle is the constant banging. Up a lot of the slopes you get these things that I like to call yumps. They're caused by vehicles trying to drive the tracks in two-wheel drive, and the wheels dig holes. And some drivers like to do two-wheel drive and then only go into four-wheel drive when they need it, which I'm vehemently against because it damages the tracks. So you get these yumps, and the vehicle takes a great deal of punishment and pounding as the suspension travels maximum high, maximum low, and the shock absorbers get incredibly hot when working a heavy load in terrain like this. The other is corrugations. We have, up to this point, encountered almost no corrugations at all, and one of the reasons for that is because there's been so little traffic that the track has been very kind to us in terms of corrugations. We haven't seen the worst the Canning has to offer, I think.
Hey Robbie, have you checked your freezer recently?
Yes, did I?
No, you didn't.
Nah.
No?
No, it's been a lot longer than that. I put something in there. I've tried to sabotage the Range Rover with extra parts.
Do I want to look at this?
It's definitely frozen by now.
Really?
But that's from the Hilux.
That's right, I thought you guys could use a proper rear view mirror.
We never had one to start with. It's not as if we lost one.
No,
You lost your wing mirror.
and I share. That's what I do.
You share. Shares.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly.
We'll give him this one.
It's quite good.
Oh, I've got a bit of a problem with the Range Rover. I feel actually seriously, I feel a bit bad about making fun of the Hilux.
Yeah, because
You know. All right, let's see what we can do. I'm hoping that we'll find a remedy in here. There you go.
you reckon that'll do it?
We have a sticky door catch.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Give it a try. Give it a try. Fantastic. Well, thank you. This is well 36. Unused wells, while not refurbished like many others, do attract a lot of bird life. These are budgerigars, or often called the common parakeet. They are endemic to Australia, and very common in this area because their main food is spinifex seed. Every now and again between the dunes you come over into these valleys and you see these forests of, well, what kind of trees are they? The bark looks remarkably like pine. They have long pine needles, and they have pine cones. So what trees are they? They're called desert oaks. I just stopped to take a break, but everybody like me is also now climbing underneath their vehicles to check for grass. We went through a very, very heavy grassy patch. I got a lot of... I'm not worried about that really. It's not serious. I'll sort that out properly later. The radiator is quite serious actually. I think at the halfway point I'm going to take the grill off and get some high pressure air on that and see if I can do a better job than just pulling it out with a stick or a bit of wire as I'm doing. You missed a bit. hands work a lot better than a stick.
I think it's time to put the net on. It's getting more and more with the spinning fakes.
Well, that's the well 37. No water. It's not a functional well, so it's not that we can't, repair it. We can repair it or anything like that. The dunes have made way for a vast grassy plain. Our speed has increased dramatically, but instead of lumps and yumps, we've hit corrugations. Quite bad corrugations. It's also time to find a camp. We are actually looking for a campsite. It's almost 4 o'clock. We've been looking for 20 minutes and haven't found anything suitable at all, just spinifex. And you can't camp in spinifex.
I don't know how the others are going, but smooth as a baby's butt.
We're sitting at 50 to 60 kilometers an hour and making up good ground. At this rate, it'll be late, but we'll arrive at the halfway point at well 33 tonight.
I've been wandering out the Range Rover. Oh, handle of corrugation. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Like a sailboat through the dunes. Not that bad. I thought it was going to be bad, but no. Alright, not too bad at all.
We've made excellent time and arrived at well 33 just after sunset. It's deserted. Rob seems to enjoy driving that Range Rover. A little bit too much, actually.
COVID must be so bad here that even the cars have masks on.
Rob is still driving around like a mad person. That's not optimistic. No water. Ooh, gave me a fright for a moment. I thought, no water here, and then the trip stops. We'd have to get water. But it's fantastic. Warm shocks?
Yeah, the shocks are warm after that.
Warm shocks? Warm
Tested
shock?
mine are touchable.
Is your
I
shock
just
warm?
burnt my fingers on those ones.
Mine are
A
touchable.
little bit warm.
Yes. And the shocks?
I'm fine. It's like one of them desert ships just sailing through.
That sorted. It's time to set up camp and enjoy the silence. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and there, as I sleep in my penthouse tent, I see the children and their swags. And we've all been woken tonight by a dingo that's on the prowl. I've done this many times. Mostly in Africa, that is. And the animals I am waiting to see or record are more often than not hyena, the sound that carries through the bush. As eerie as one can imagine. The dingo is not just the Australian equivalent, but it's equally eerie. Big deal, a really big deal for me. We've reached the halfway point. It's been amazing. The Range Rover's running perfectly. We're going to spend the day here, and we can replenish our water, and I'm going to take a very close look at the Range Rover. But no time to waste, lots to do. Photograph the birds. Attracted by water, these are zebra finch. And flying in flocks above, common budgerigar. What are these birds thinking as they fly like this? I'm following him, but I'm following you. Why are you following me? I don't know. Look, a politician, but we're going nowhere. I know, follow him quickly. All of the vehicles are in quite bad shape, except for the Range Rover, of course. So we need to do a bit of work to make sure that we reach the end without further trouble. You had a puncture?
I had a puncture, yeah. I did stake the sidewall right there. But we could fix it. So far it's holding pressure. We'll wait till tomorrow and see what happens.
Oh, look at that underneath the car.
Just been making sure any of the seeds are out, because I've got one left to swell up and I'll spray it out with water.
That's looking really good, Rob.
Yeah, a little bit of a clean out.
Good job. Yeah, fantastic.
This is my cabin air filter. I put that in new before we started.
One of the weaknesses, this has been reinforced, but the base we did not reinforce. It was too difficult. We have water to spare. Considering our achievement thus far, I can't help but look back at the origins of this idea. A little more than a year ago, I purchased the Range Rover in Melbourne, did a little bit of work on it, and then drove it right across Australia, unsupported. Last bit to get into the car. What began as a quest to find and purchase, no matter its state, my Range Rover that I sold 30 years ago has led me to this. Sleeping the night, curled on the back seat, to be woken by the Australian bush calls and being reacquainted with the familiar smell of gear oil. It's been 9 weeks since I purchased the Range Rover, blind, from the other side of Australia. Now in Melbourne, I collected it, drove it a bit, spent the last 5 days working on it, and 5 days worrying about the journey I'm about to undertake. 3,500 kilometres to my home in Western Australia. Yes, I'm driving it home.
Here we go.
And you find me now dreading the Melbourne morning mayhem as I look forward to that all-elusive open road. And now, a year and a half later, I've reached the halfway point on what is probably the toughest route in all of Australia.
Range Rover parts come to the rescue again. Pizza handle complete.
How wonderful it is to have done absolutely nothing all day, and then the rest. You just go God. What are they?
You'll find out when you eat them, because I ain't got a bloody clue.
You are a little paprika twist, you are.
Yeah, boys. Knock another one up here.
Thanks, Robbie.
That's not bad.
What a luxury. Pizza in the middle of nowhere. So I can say I've done something as well. Look at that. Look at the pizza.
I'm going to do another one.
Yes. Don't hold back.
I'm not.
Love you.
Love you too.
It's the first time on a big trip with my troop carrier, and I'm pleased to say that of my 100-litre water tank, I still have half remaining. But I am going to fill it up. The track ahead of us is over 100 kilometres longer than the track behind us. That could easily mean an additional 2 or 3 days travel.
In 2017, from the same water hole, we used a ticka siphon, and I had to hold the jerry can up here to siphon it down into the tank. This is a little easier.
Look how far technology has come.
Yeah, look how far technology has come.
And it's even filtered in between.
Yeah.
Kunarawiji is a settlement mentioned and escape route, a place where we can refuel and buy some basic supplies. We're also going to inquire about the reopening of the permit system, closed since the pandemic began in early 2020. We've been completely out of touch for over a week, but it was, when we left, about to reopen. But the 5-minute drive there is going to take a little bit longer than we thought it might.
What happened to you, Robbie? The engine needed a rest. There was a little bit not enough fuel to get just down there.
So close! So close! And when I say close, I'm talking 3 kilometres or so. Oh dear, that's funny. We thought we would be able to squeeze in and just get in to fill it up. Oh well. So close.
Okay.
So close. It's like 3 kilometres to go.
What do 10 litres?
Come on in.
See? Just fuel.
Like it never happened.
Time to see how much fuel we've all used.
All done? Yep. Yeah, we'll work out the consumptions tonight and
Work it out.
Work it out.
It's less than what I thought, because that's both tanks topped up.
163 litres for both tanks.
Yeah.
That's very good. Far better than I expected.
That is 133.3 litres.
Now my V8 Troopcarrier. The speed at which I've seen the needle fall, actually it's been doing quite well.
129.9 litres.
That's better than the Hilux. And the Mitsubishi, best of all, at 15.5 litres per 100 kilometres.
While we were on the track, the permit system opened. So we've come into Kunarawiji now, and they very kindly let us use their computer, and we have purchased our permits, and we now have
the permission officially, as well as just verbally, to continue our trip on the Canning Stock route. Several phone calls later, and with some help from the kind locals, by the time lunchtime arrived, so did our permits. Alright, the convoy's back on the move. Managed to get some few supplies replenished at their store, which was actually quite well stocked. It's well after 2 p.m. before we get going. The good news is we don't have to spend another night at well 33 waiting for permits, but the bad news is that our tally so far today is just 9 kilometres. So we better get going.
That's lucky, that must have only just happened.
What's happened there?
Got a water leak.
Water
The
leak.
tank has got a water leak on one of the weld spots.
Fortune shines on us once again.
Find it, Robbie? Can you open my rear drawer?
Heiner didn't stop because of a leak in the water tank. He stopped because of overheating rear brakes.
Gel? Grab some of that.
Yeah? Stay away from the hot stuff and don't sit up.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'll try to remember that.